Welcome students. In this video, we will be discussing about the time and space complexity analysis of finding the sum of all nodes in linked list. So we finished with the concept explanation part. We finished also the implementation of two approaches, iterative as well as recursive approach. And now here this is time for analyzing the code that what we have implemented. Right, so we will just find the time and space complexity of both the approaches separately, and we will have a comparison of both. Right, so coming here to finding the time complexity of iterative approach, the given function, let me take the time function t of n. Time function t of n, what is n here? N is that totally we need to add n elements. So total node initially is n nodes. So for that is what represented by n, the total number of nodes. Okay, each and every process, each and every operation will be taking 1 unit of time, a single operation. So this taking variable initializing it to 0 will be taking 1 unit of time. Then coming to this loop, how many times that this loop will be executed? Temp not equal to null. How many times this condition will be executed? How many nodes, if you see here, how many nodes are available here? 1, 2, 3, 4 nodes are available. Yeah, 4 nodes are available. So for the very first node, yes, that condition will be executed. For the second node, yes, condition will be evaluated. For the third node, yes, the same condition will be evaluated. For the fourth node also it will be evaluated, and finally when your temp reaches null also it will be evaluated, but it evaluates to false. So four times evaluated to true and one time evaluated to false. Totally how many times executed? 5 times. If totally n node is available, then n plus 1 time the condition will be evaluated. So this condition is one time if it is executed, 1 unit of time. N plus 1 time if it is executed, then it is n plus 1 unit time. Okay, condition is evaluated for n plus 1 time. Coming to the body part of the loop, how many times that this line will be executed? We clearly said that from this n plus 1 iteration, n is actually successful evaluation and only one wrong, that is the false evaluation. So n true evaluation and one false evaluation, that is checking when temp becomes null, it is actually called as wrong evaluation, false evaluation. So what is the success evaluations, true evaluations, n evaluation? For that successful evaluation only you will be entering into the body part. How many times you will enter into body part? N times you will enter. So if this line is executed for 1 time, then 1 unit of time. But this is going to be executed for n times. So n multiplied by 1, n unit time will be required. Similarly, this line also will be executed for n time. So total of n unit time will be required. Okay, coming to this printf statement, 1 unit time will be taken, 1 unit time. So add all this unit time and define this time function. So t of n is equal to, take all this n terms, 1, 2, 3. 3 n term is available. So 3n, n plus n plus n, 3n plus all the constant terms, 1 plus 1, 2, 2 plus 1, 3. So the time equation that we have obtained is t of n is equal to 3n plus 3. This is a polynomial equation, polynomial function. T of n is a polynomial function. For every polynomial equation, there will be something called as degree. Degree is the power of the variables that we have in the equation. The power value that we have in the equation. So here only one variable is having. What is the power of it? 1. So then it is considered to be, so 1 is considered to be the highest power. It is the highest degree of the polynomial equation. So we should choose the term which is having highest degree. So this is the term having highest degree. So, so what we can do is it is equal to take only the part 3n, but 3 is actually a constant one which we can probably remove it and have only n. So order of n is the time complexity. What you are doing? You are finding all the unit time. So you wrote a time function representing the unit time taken. Then from this is actually a polynomial function. From this polynomial function, take the term having highest degree, and then from that term remove if there is any number, constant number is available. 3 is a constant number. So remove 3 and take only n. So the time complexity is said to be order of n, whereas n is the total number of node available in the linked list. The same n. Don't think that this is lowercase and that's uppercase. Both n are same. Okay. Now let us also, so let me take this and define. Okay, this is the time complexity of the iterative approach actually. Okay, so here coming to the time complexity part, actually time complexity of, okay, so time complexity of the iterative approach is order of, okay, order of n. Okay, fine. Let us find the time complexity of the recursive approach also. So coming to the recursive approach, always I have just recommended you to form a recurrence relation from the recursive code and then solve the recurrence relation. You will get a polynomial equation from which you can directly take the time complexity. So define the provided recursive function as t of n time function, where n here also represent the total number of node available. So initially there are n node available. For checking this condition, it is going to be 1 unit time. For returning the 0 value, it is going to be 1 unit time. Coming here to this, coming here for this temp of data, it will be 1 unit plus this is going to be recursive call, right? So what you are recursively calling, you are calling temp of next. So you are moving from temp to temp of next. So totally you have n node. After taking the sum of the first node, remaining how many nodes you will have? N minus node you will have. So if R sum of LL of temp, if it is taken as T of n, and when one node you are skipping and if you are moving to the next node, how many remaining nodes will be there? N minus 1. So this can be called as T of n minus 1. Because here totally n node were available, but if you call this function, hereafter only n minus 1 node will be available. So calling this, so we are just passing in, so we are taking this recursive call as T of n minus 1 to represent that hereafter there will be n minus 1 node. Okay, fine. Now put together, add all these things together, you will be getting an equation. T of n is equal to T of n minus 1 plus 1 here and 1. There are 3 ones available. So this is like T of n is equal to T of n minus 1 plus 3. So I have already mentioned this in several places. In the recurrence relation that we are forming, if there is any constant part, change it to 1. Okay. Now let us take this, and also we have to be mentioning the base condition also, about the base condition. So this is a function, this keeps on going, but if this is, see, this will be executed when else part is executed. Suppose there is the endpoint, right? Endpoint is there. What is the endpoint? If your temp is null, when your temp becomes null, how many node will be there hereafter? No node will be there after a null. So the base condition is going to be T of 0, whereas 0 represents that At last there will be no other node available, so only t of 0 will be there. And when there are no node hereafter, this if statement will be executed and you will be returning 0. For returning 0, 1 unit of time. So when there is no node left, you will be taking 1 unit. So t of 0 equal to 1 unit. So 1. So taking this recurrence relation, and let us try to solve this. Okay, fine. 1 minute. Okay, so this is a recurrence relation. So what method we have to be using? Successive substitution. Don't expect every recurrence relation to be solved using successive substitution. It is not possible. There are different kinds of recurrence relation for which we have different methods also. So far we have not seen any the different kinds of recurrence relation, which we will definitely discuss in the further sessions. So in successive substitution, first of all, that so the initial equation, let us consider it as equation number 1. Let us take it as equation number 1. So this is considered to be equation number 1. Then let us first of all find the value of t of n minus 1. The value of t of n minus 1 is equal to, in equation 1, instead of n, substitute n minus 1. Already instead of n, I substituted n minus 1 on the left side. Left side also, right side also, instead of n, substitute n minus 1. So n minus 1, again minus 1, so it will be n minus 2. So this is going to be t of n minus 2 plus 1. Okay. Let us take that this equation as equation number 2. Next step. Substitute equation 2 in equation 1. So take the value of t of n minus 1 and substitute here instead of t of n minus 1 in equation 1. So it is going to be like t of n is equal to, so instead of t of n minus 1, this is going to be t of n minus 2 plus 1 in this equation, plus 1 in this equation. So put together it will be plus 2. So let us take this equation as equation number 3. Now the next job is to find the value of t of n minus 2. So it is going to be t of n minus 2. So how to find the value of t of n minus 2? In equation 1, instead of n, substitute n minus 2. Already left side, instead of n, we have substituted n minus 2. On the right side also substitute n minus 2. So instead of n, if n minus 2 is substituted, then n minus 2 minus 1. So it will be n minus 3. So t of n minus 3 plus 1. So this equation we can take it as equation number 4. This is taken as equation number 4. Now take this t of n minus 2 and substitute here. So the next step is substitute equation 4 in equation 3. So take t of n minus 2 and substitute here. So the equation will become t of n is equal to, so instead of t of n minus 2, substitute this. So t of n minus 3 plus 1 in this equation, plus 2 here. So put together it will be plus 3. So this new equation is going to be equation number 5. Now this will keep on going. If you substitute again and again, this will keep on. This is why it is called a successive substitution. But I'm going to generalize this equation. So the next step, after doing 2 or 3 steps, I think 3 or 4 steps. After doing 3 or 4 steps, you have to go for generalizing the equation. So generalizing the equation. So coming to generalization, take t of n is equal to, t of n is okay, but minus This negative term is actually changing. Initially it was -1, then after substitution -2, the next after the next substitution is -3. Let's keep on changing. Let us take the changing value as k generally. Then plus. This positive value is also changing. Initially 1, then after substitution 2, after the next substitution 3. And hope you are able to see that here, if this is 1 and this term is also 1. This is 2, then this term is 2. If this term is 3, then this term is also 3. So if this is k, then this positive value is also k. And this equation we can probably call it as equation number 6. Now this keeps on going, that is k value 1, 2, 3, 4. So n minus 1, n minus 2, n minus 3, minus 4, minus 5 keeps on going. Where is the end point of it? When this process will stop? Then you have no node left, which means that the argument has to become 0. When does this argument will become 0? When will n minus k will be equal to 0? If n is equal to k, then this is possible, because here minus k will go to right side as positive. So if n is equal to k, then automatically both will, the difference of both will be 0. It will become t of 0. So it will be the end of this process. So instead of k, start substituting n value. So t of n is equal to t of n minus n again, and instead of k again n. So this equation we will take it as equation number 7. And here in equation number 7, here n minus n will be 0. N minus n will be equal to 0. What is the value of t of 0? 1. So t of n is equal to 1 plus n, which is absolutely a polynomial equation. From this polynomial equation, which term is the having highest degree? This n term is having highest degree. N term is having highest degree, power 1. So take only that highest degree part. Okay, take that highest degree part alone, n. Is there any constant along with n? No, there is no constant. So directly you can say that the time complexity can be said as order of n. Right? So coming here, the time complexity of the iterative approach is order of n. And now the time complexity of recursive approach is also order of n. So there is no difference between the time complexity of iterative approach and recursive approach. Now let us start speaking about the space complexity of iterative approach initially. Iterative approach. Okay, fine. So coming to the space complexity is how many memory blocks that we are taking. I think here temp is one memory block and sum is the next memory block. So we have only two memory blocks taken. For one memory block it is going to be 1 unit space. For another variable it is one more space. So totally only 2 unit of space is taken. Okay, so here the equation can be, space equation can be equal to 2 unit of space. Coming to 2, just simply equation 2. I think this equation can be rewritten as 2 multiplied by n power 0. Introducing n power 0 to say that this is a polynomial equation. Introducing this n power 0 will not change the value because anything power 0 is 1. So again 2 multiplied by 1, again 2. Okay, so now from this, which is actually having the highest degree, and this term, this only term available, so only one term is available, so no need of going for power, degree. But one thing that we want to do is that we should remove the constant part, which is 2. Remove constant part, the remaining will be your space complexity function. So order of n power 0. Okay, coming to order of n power 0, I think anything power 0 will be equal to 1. So the space complexity of iterative approach is order of 1. Next one, we can just find the space complexity of recursive approach. Also recursive approach, what is going to be the space complexity of recursive approach? We have to look into how many variables or how many memory blocks that we are going to take, right? Yes, 1 minute, 1 minute please. Look at this main memory. You can able to see this activation record. Actually, there is how many activation record here? Actually, there are totally 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 activation record. How many node? 4 node. So for 4 node, 5 activation area including null also. So totally how many activation area is here? There are totally n plus 1 activation area available. N plus 1 activation area or activation record is found here. So what is n here? The total number of node available. For every activation record, how many memory block is there? One memory block for temp pointer. So in every activation record, one block. So in n plus 1 activation record, n plus 1 block will be there. So n plus 1 unit of space will be required. So the equation will, the equation will, the equation will become like, the equation is going to be like S of n. Space function is, the space function is equal to, it is equation is n plus 1. Polynomial equation. Which term is having highest degree? N term is having highest degree. So remove this constant. So n term. In this n term, is there any constant sticking together? No. So you can take this alone. So order of n is the space complexity of the recursive approach. So here clearly iterative approach is winning because of the space complexity. So recursion will always be costly in terms of memory, right? So I think the same thing we did for counting node also and for displaying also, but again and again I'm doing the same thing because you should do this time and space complexity analysis eventually for every process that we are doing, whether it is same for displaying, counting and sum, does not matter. But again and again the time complexity and space complexity should be analyzed, and it should be a habit for you. Whenever you solve a problem, find time complexity and space complexity. Because of this, using this only, you will be able to compare two different algorithms or two different approaches. Yes, fine. So thank you students. Fine.